Hi guys, this is Supriya and I'm here again with another video on Core Java series, and today's topic is data type in Java. Okay, so let's start. Uh, so now consider a scenario in which you are giving some values to your computer system. So it can be a number 10, it can be any decimal value like 11.4, or it can be any letter, say T, okay, and it can be any word, say world, okay. It can be any sentence, say my name is Supriya. So these are different type of data or value that you're giving to the system, but you need to tell your system what type of data is it. Okay, you can't just simply write 10, 11.4, or the sentence. You have to tell your system, you have to tell your computer that this is the type of data. So if you are giving a number 10 as a value to your system, then you need to tell the computer or system that it is of integer type. And if you're giving 11.4, then it should be a decimal type. And if this is a letter, a single letter, then it has to be a character type of data, etc., etc. So you need to tell the computer what type of data is it, and for that we make the use of data types. Okay, now in Java there are two subcategories of data type. First one is primitive data type, and the second one is non-primitive data type. Okay, so what are primitive data type? They are predefined or inbuilt data type, and non-primitive data type are user-defined data type. Okay, when you say predefined or inbuilt data type, it means that it's predefined. Okay, it's already there in Java library. You don't have to create it. Okay, when you say user-defined, like the non-primitive data type, that means you as a user is going to create these data types. Okay, so that's it. That is why it is called as the user-defined data type, because we are going to create them. But primitive data types are already available in Java library. Okay, and hence they are said to be predefined or inbuilt data type. Now there is another reason why they are predefined or inbuilt. It's because they have predefined size. Okay, so now these are the list of primitive data types, okay, from 1 to 8. Okay, now if we talk about first data type, that is byte, it is of the size 1 byte. Okay, so for example, I'm writing, say, just give me a moment, I'm writing byte, say val is equal to 10. Okay, now this is my value 10, and this is my variable. Val is my variable and byte is my data type that you can see here. So the moment I write this sentence, okay, to write a Java program, what we are doing is this value 10 will act as a literal. This value, this val, will act as a variable, and a variable will be a memory location. Okay, and the moment you write this byte val, 1 byte of memory will be allocated to this variable, which is val. Okay, and this variable will store the value 10. Okay, now this variable is of what data type? Byte. So this is how you write your code while declaring and defining the variable. Okay, so when you're writing the code like using this byte data type, 1 byte size memory is allocated to the your variable. Okay, and this variable of 1 byte will store the value, whatever value you give over here, that will be stored in that variable. Okay, and short data type is of 2 byte size. Okay, int is 4 byte, long is 8 byte. Okay, float and double, so they will store decimal data types, decimal data. So if it is 11.4, you will have to write a syntax like this. I just write below this. Okay, so it will be like float. Now your data type is float. That means your value will be some decimal value. Okay, so if it is float, say FVAL, this is my variable. Okay, you can give any meaningful name to a variable, but float is my data type. This is my variable, and the moment you declare the variable, when you write this line of code, it means you're declaring your variable, and it is of the type float, and you have to give a decimal value over here. Okay, so it can be say 11.3. Okay, and you have to write like this. This is the syntax that you need to follow. Okay, so you're declaring your float variable, and the memory of 4 byte is allocated to this FVAL variable, and 11.3 value is stored in this variable. Okay, in the same way we have double data type. This also handles decimal values. Okay, and it is of 8 byte size. Char data type it is of 2 byte size. Okay, and the syntax for writing char values are char a, and it will store single letters. Okay, which should be enclosed in single quotes. So char a, or a can be any word also, say CVAL. It can be any meaningful name. Okay, it's just not necessarily that you write a single letter, but you can give any meaningful name. Okay, but the data type should be your one of the primitive data type. Okay, and the value, if it is single letter, then it has to be a char type of data, and it should be enclosed in the single quotes. Okay, so char will be of 2 byte size. Okay, so the moment you write this 2 byte size, a memory of 2 byte is allocated to C variable over here, and Y is stored in this C variable of character data type. This is how you read, okay, the Java code. Okay, so coming to the next data type, Boolean. Now this is of 1 bit. Let me tell you, 1 bit is equal to 1 byte is equal to 8 bit. Okay, so if it is 1 byte, so 8 into 1 is 8 bit. So byte is of 8 bit size. You can also say this way. Okay, short is of 8 into 2, 16 bit size. Int is of 4 into 8, 32 bit size. Okay, so this is how you can also say this way as well. Okay, So Boolean is of 1 bit size in Java memory. However, it's not precisely defined. Okay, so Boolean has only two result values. Okay, it can be false or true. Okay, so at the runtime only, JVM will decide how much memory needs to be given to a Boolean variable. So hence we say that it's not precisely defined. Okay, and so we are done with all 8 type of primitive data type. And I will also tell you that in the last video I told you about the keywords, okay, in Java. So these keywords, these primitive data type are some of the keywords in Java library. Okay, so you can see this first column, primitive types: Boolean, byte, char, short, int, long, float, double. Okay, void is not a primitive type. However, void we will see in later videos. Okay, but these are 8 primitive data types which are also called as the keywords in Java library. And in the last video we have seen what are keywords. Keywords are reserved words that has meaningful name that only JVM understands, and or a Java compiler can understand. So primitive types are some of the Java keywords. So all these keywords starts from small letters. So whenever you will be writing Java code using any of the keywords, you will be writing it starting with small letters. Okay, so here we are done with the primitive data type. Now coming to non-primitive data type. So they are user defined data type. That means user is going to create them. So it can be string, arrays, or user defined class. Now what are string? String, so I have given the scenario in which I said that if you want to provide a word to a system or a sentence to a system, so such type of data can be given the data type as string data type. Okay, so string are the collection of characters. Okay, so in character data type we have seen that we can only give a single character or a single letter as the value. Okay, enclosed in single quotes. However, if you combine these characters, okay, that will make a word or a sentence, and hence string is said to be as the collection of characters. So I have given some examples over here. So this is my data type string. Okay, this is my variable student, and my value is Supriya. This is some word. Okay, but we need to remember that this has to be enclosed in double quotes. Okay, just like in case of character, a single letter has to be enclosed in single quotes. In case of string data type, the value should be, or the data should be enclosed in double quotes. Okay, so I have string result is equal to pass, string student is equal to Supriya. But why the non-primitive data types are not predefined? Because if you just consider this Supriya as my string, then it has how many characters? Just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it has 7 characters, and one character is of how many byte? It's of 2 byte size. Okay, so 7 into 2, 14 byte. Okay, 14 byte. Okay, now here in this case, string result is equal to pass. So if you count the number of characters here in pass data, data, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 into 2 is 8. Okay, so 8 byte. So the memory, the size of the memory, it's not fixed. Okay, it will keep on changing depending upon the number of characters, and that is the reason string will store any random value, okay, of different sizes. So that is determined at the runtime. So that is the reason we say that non-primitive data types are user-defined data types, and they are not predefined data types or inbuilt data types, because in predefined we have the fixed size. Okay, however in user-defined the size is not fixed. Okay, so string is a class in Java. It's a predefined class, but we can also use string as the data type, but when you are saying it as a data type, it's user-defined data type, okay, or non-primitive data type in Java. Okay, but how string is a predefined class, that we will understand in later videos. So for now, just understand this, that string is also called as the non-primitive data type, which is user-defined data type, and this is used to define a variable, and the value should be stored inside the variable, okay, but it should be enclosed inside the double quotes. Okay, this is the syntax that you need to follow. All right, so I'll also show you one diagram. Okay, this is one chart, in fact. So here you can see that there are primitive data types: byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, boolean, and these are the sizes, and these are the ranges. Okay, so if you are declaring any variable of byte size, this is the range, minus 128 to plus 127. So the value that you are giving should be between this range. Okay, similarly for integer data type, the value should be between this range. So this is the range of value that you can give. Okay, and these are the corresponding wrapper classes that we will study in later videos, and these are the default values. Okay, so for byte is 0, from byte to float the default value is 0. However, for character it is Unicode characters. Okay, and for Boolean it's false. Okay, so this is the chart we have. You can just Google the chart of data types and you'll get all the information if you want to get into more details. Okay, also I'll just open my Eclipse and I'll write one small code, okay, just to make you understand. And also in the last video we have seen that how I told you about the object. If a person is an object, it has the state and the properties. Okay, and in Java when we are writing the code to declare or define the state and the properties of the object inside a class, we are representing this way. Okay, they are said to be variables, and these variables are what variables? These variables, but we have to define these variables by providing the data types. Okay, so in the Java program I have just written a small piece of code over here. Okay, you can see this: int height is equal to 6. Okay, now this height is a variable, and int is the keyword. This is the predefined primitive data type. So you are telling your system that I want to store my value 6 in height variable, which is of integer data type. Okay, and when you are declaring it as int, then 4 byte memory is allocated to this variable, height variable. Now since black is a word, it should be a string variable. Okay, so we will declare this variable. We can give any variable name like eye color. Okay, and it is of string type, and the value is black, and since it is string, it should be enclosed inside the double quotes. So string hair color is equal to brown. So these are the attributes, or these are the variables, okay, that you are declaring or defining. Okay, so likewise you can declare other data types as well, like int, string, byte, short, Boolean. Okay, and you can make the use of primitive data types here just below the main method. Alright, and this is my class Java objects. It's a user defined class. That means I have created it. Remember in the last video I have created this class. So if I am creating it or you are creating it, it will be said to be user defined class. There are classes which are predefined. That means they are already there in your Java library. So that is also used. We will make the use of predefined classes as well in future videos, but for now just understand that this is a user defined class, and this is also called as the non-primitive data type. Alright, so user defined classes are also the non-primitive data type. Now coming to arrays. Arrays is a vast topic that we will understand in some other session. So I'm just skipping arrays for now, but it is a non-primitive data type because for all the non-primitive data types, the memory is allocated, or Java memory is allocated by JVM at runtime. So they are not predefined, they don't have any predefined size. Okay, so that is the reason they are said to be non-primitive data type. Okay, so with this I'll end this session and see you in the next session with the fresh topic in Core Java series. And for now, you have a great day. Stay healthy, stay safe. Goodbye.